Hello and welcome to the 6-minute stretch challenge number 12. You'll notice that Denny is not with me again today, but don't worry, he'll be back. For now, we're going to explore the concept of hardiness a bit further as a tool to increase your bounce back factor, but we'll bounce off of the last conversation in 6-minute stretch number 11 where we introduced hardiness, and we're going to take a deeper dive into the first C of hardiness, what we call challenge. Now, as you may remember, as a quick recap from our last 6-minute stretch, we introduced the concept of 3 C's of hardiness as a way to grow your resilience. And those 3 C's include challenge, the concept of control, and then also commitment. And I want you to keep in mind that our goal is to embody all 3 of these and work together to build muscle so that we can really have great foundational resilience in times of adversity. But today we're going to go deeper into the concept of challenge. And just as a quick reminder, challenge is basically the hardiness factor that is giving us a chance to look at how we embrace change. If we consider today's environment, change is coming at us probably more rapidly than ever before. And if we're low in challenge, we might end up dragging our feet. We might fight against the things that we need to potentially change. And that could end up creating a detriment either to ourselves, to our companies, or to those in our families. So one of the things that we want to do is really explore where is your propensity to leverage the concept of challenge. And again, you may remember in one of our resource sheets in the last 6-minute stretch, we talked about how there's a tool called the HRG, the Hardiness Resilience Gauge, that helps us really get a sense of the frequency in which we're using these hardiness tools. And so when we look at challenge, you could either be a low user, you could be a moderate user, or you could be a high user of challenge. And let's just break down what you might see depending on which of these tiers you are using. If you're a low user, typically you're someone who's quite reluctant to embrace change. You may see very little intrigue into the things that are new. And what's interesting is that when we're low in this hardiness factor, we almost use failure as affirmation or confirmation that we shouldn't have been doing it at all. So when something doesn't go well, we'll say something to ourselves like, I knew I shouldn't have done that. And so when we look at our low usage of challenge, this can really hold us back from trying to grow and expand our skill sets. Now, when we are moderate in our usage of challenge, we are definitely someone who embraces change in our lives. Now, there is a chance, though, that during unexpected situations, sometimes when we're quite overwhelmed or stressed, where we might not be able to utilize our challenge, and we may still hold back and say, wait, I don't want to do this. That's completely different than those of us who maybe embody a higher use of challenge, which is where we see stress as normal. In fact, we look at it with this enthusiastic, open mind, curious to try something new and see what it can do for us. We're likely someone who sees failure as a true opportunity to learn, and we think of it as something that is the path to improvement. As you look at each of these descriptors, you should be starting to resonate, which one of these describes me? And then you start to ask yourself, what would I benefit from, or how would I benefit if I were to expand my usage of this skill? Well, just to keep you on your toes, I want you to know there's lots of research that has been done in the concept of hardiness. And what we know is that people who are higher with a challenge mindset, they typically meet stressful life events head on, embrace change, and grow even during times of adversity. In addition, what's really helpful to know is that hardy people see problems as a challenge, and they would much rather seek a solution than retreat. When you consider how important that is, let's explore a handful of strategies that you may use if you decide you want to grow your challenge hardiness factor. So a couple that I'll share with you, we don't have long in a 6-minute time window. In fact, I will include a handful of additional ideas, but let me just share with you 3 to get you started. The first one's going to sound super basic, but it's very powerful, and that's just making sure you commit to trying something new. But I tacked on the idea that I want you to compete with yourself first. So let's just give you an example. Let's say that you decide that, hey, everybody runs. I'm not a runner, but I know I should get healthier. I'm going to start to run. Well, the first time that you say, hey, tomorrow's my day, I'm going to run, what you don't want to do is say, well, you know, Katie, one of my friends, she runs about 3 miles a day, I think. So I guess I need to run 3 miles a day. because the minute you get home wheezing after having ran a half a mile, you're going to immediately say, I knew this was a bad idea. I don't know what she's thinking. So instead, compete with the version of you yesterday that ran 0 miles and say, hey, I'm going to try a half a mile today. And then tomorrow, maybe you can go 3/4 of a mile. But you start with competing with yourself first and really committing to trying something new. In addition, another one of my favorites is to give yourself an opportunity to start learning things that you've just never even been interested in before, right? So really seeking out new learning moments. As an example, try a book that you've always thought didn't even have an intrigue to you, a subject you've never considered interesting, but hey, I'm going to try this week. I had a person who shared an article with me about a lady who, on her husband's 50th birthday, she created a new activity for him to learn how to do every week for a year. She gave him 50 envelopes, one for each day of his, one for each year of his birthday. And one of the things that she had in one of his challenges was to use laughing yoga as a means for stress relief and in part exercise. Such an intriguing, fun idea. But when she said it, I thought, I've never thought of that. I would never have looked that up on my own. So for me, it was a great way to expand my challenge. The last one is brief, but it's just to remind you, use failure and make it something that's worthwhile. Give yourself to look to the moments of celebrating, hey, I've learned what not to do, and I've got a great next step because I'm going to try something, alterations to the things I tried yesterday. If you can try starting with just these 3 techniques, you're going to be in a much better place to expand your challenge. So that's where we recap and say, hey, time to really get our challenge going this week. We start with growth as an individual, where I really want you to take a self-assessment of where you're at in your challenge, and then pick one of the 3 or a new idea of how to expand your challenge and give it a try for the next 2 weeks. In addition, we don't want you to forget to share this with someone else. Give someone else that you know a chance to learn this as well. Have them watch the video. Talk to them about where they're at with their challenge and what they're trying to grow their hardiness factor of challenge. It's go time, so we want you to get going. Let's do this, and keep us posted on your progress. We'd love to hear from you. Good luck.